Children aren't at risk of sexual abuse simply because every single predator out there is so smart and so cunning that they have overcome everything that we can do to protect children. But rather, there is a major lack of awareness going out there. There's a lot of ignorance, and there's a lot of willful blindness of people who know the risk but don't take the steps. We think it doesn't happen to us. It doesn't occur in our community. It doesn't apply to us. So when pediatricians don't talk about it at every well visit, parents think that this isn't a major issue because if doctors were talking about it, it would be important. If schools were addressing it and telling the parents and the families what steps they're taking to make children safer, they would realize the risk. But what happens is no one's talking about it. And when we don't talk about it, we're giving predators the upper hand, whether or not we realize it or not. Talking about it is essential. Knowledge is power, but it's also responsibility. Because when we have the knowledge that as many as 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are being sexually abused, and in over 90% of cases by someone that they know, we have a responsibility to do something about that. Because children are not responsible for protecting themselves. We are responsible for protecting them. And that doesn't mean we're at fault if we fail to protect children despite our best efforts. That doesn't mean that. What it means is that we have a responsibility to be their voice, to educate ourselves, and most importantly, educate other adults, whether it's people in our family, our friends, the people that we trust with our children. They need to know about the issues of child sexual abuse and what we can do to empower children and reduce risk for abuse, because that's how we're going to stop it. One of the most important things that we need to address when it comes to child sexual abuse is child-on-child sexual abuse, which occurs in up to 30 to 40% of cases. It can be siblings, cousins, peers, classmates. There are a lot of situations where children are perpetrating sexual abuse against other children. And it doesn't mean that they're predators in the making. A lot of it has to do with either young children who have experienced sexual abuse and then commit abuse against other children, but most often it's children who have been exposed to pornography or are going through puberty and experiencing their own sexual feelings and don't know how to deal with it. They're not receiving proper guidance on how to handle this part of growing up. And so they see a younger sibling or another child as an opportunity to explore their sexuality, which is in turn abusive to that child. And I know a lot of times caregivers and parents focus on child sexual abuse as a means of protecting their child. But when you think about the fact that as much as 40% of abuse is being perpetrated by children, that means we also have to think about the opportunity of our children to perpetrate abuse against another child. And I know that's really, really uncomfortable. But being the parent of survivor is hard, and being the parent of a child perpetrator is also hard. So when we talk to our children and we promote positive, healthy behaviors with each other, we're also focusing on their behavior. It's not just about keeping them safe, but also promoting with them what is appropriate, what is expected from them when they're around other children, and the responsibility they have for children who are younger than them to promote positive behaviors.